Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Leo Chen of LEVITATESTYLE. In this video, I'm going to be talking about different ways to invest in 2022. Now, I can't believe it. We're in a new year, and I think this is a really good video, especially in the beginning of the year, to kind of see what are the different ways you can invest this year. Number one of the ways to invest this year is, of course, in the stock market. And there's so many ways that you can invest in the stock market these days. But be careful. I just feel like right now we are in kind of like a rough situation during the holiday, and right now in the first month of the year, it's been kind of going a little rocky. Just be careful. Of course, I am not a financial advisor, so this is just for YouTube entertainment purposes, but I think there's so many ways you can invest. Now, of course, you can invest in the index fund where you basically have one share of every company. You can invest in the S&P 500, the top 500 companies. There's so many apps you can use like Robinhood, Acorns for beginners. Like, I have other videos on apps that I personally use, so you can go and check those out. Of course, in the stock market, you can always buy into big well-known companies like Microsoft, Apple, Google, Tesla. Those are some of the bigger names out there. Definitely do your own research and see what companies, what industries you're most interested in. Growth stocks. So those are stocks that are like not quite making profit yet, but there is hype and there's a lot of potential in future. So that has always been a really popular kind of category of companies in the past 2 years. And then there's value stocks. Companies have really proven how well they do. They always turn a nice profit every year. And it's one of those like really safe company and stock that you can just keep buying and you should be doing pretty okay. Now, there's different ways you can invest in the stock market. You just have your own portfolio on like a Robinhood, or you can have a 401k, which is a retirement thing. You can get a Roth IRA, and that's tax-free. So there's different ways to invest and put your money in as well. You gotta do your own research and see what's best for you. Moving on, the next big one I feel like it's gotta be cryptocurrency right now. That's just been such a hot topic in the past year, especially with Bitcoin and Ethereum just going crazy. And I think in the past year as well, of course, we had Dogecoin that was on the news. Do your own research to figure out which one you like the most. But the big three, the top three, I feel like usually you see on like Robinhood and Coinbase is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. So check out which one you like the most. But I think those are kind of like the bigger ones, so you're not buying into cryptocurrency that just goes up and then crashes the next day. So it's still a pretty new thing. So definitely be careful. I personally have 20% of my investment in cryptocurrency now, just because now I understand what they could do with cryptocurrency in the future, but also different ways they can use it. For example, Ethereum, they've been using it for NFT. And that is going to be going into the next topic. The next way to invest is NFTs. And that has been another buzzword that's been around because some people are making a killing with NFTs nowadays. But basically, it's a non-fungible token. But what we see a lot is the art, digital art. And you're probably wondering like, what the heck? Digital art, like, you might not even own art yourself. Imagine all the amazing art pieces around the world that you go to museums to see, right? Those are usually going for, I don't know, millions and billions, for example. Imagine that, but digitalized. Now with NFT and that technology, you know exactly who made it, who owned it first, and like this whole tracking information. Whereas if you just show up to some art, like you have no idea the receipt basically behind it. Another way to understand NFT, I won't go into super deep detail into this, but if you ever play video games and you spend $1 in the game to buy a little boost, to spend $1 there to buy, you know, I don't know, like a little weapon, or you spend $1 to get like a nice outfit, that is in a way NFT, because you are spending money on something that is not in the real world. The way I understand that is like, hey, I spend the money because I saw value in that thing and I enjoy it and I use that digitally. NFT is definitely a very interesting way to start investing in this new year. There's more and more artists putting their work on there now. One of the accounts that I know of is called OpenSea, so you can definitely check that out. But I also think right now it is similar in a way to like trading cards and sneakers, whereas there is a market, there is a supply and demand. And the reason why the numbers, the prices are increasing and skyrocketing for certain NFTs is because someone is willing to pay for it. So it's all supply and demand. I'm not saying you should just buy any NFT. Do your research, but the biggest ones go for thousands and thousands of dollars, but that's because everyone wants a certain piece of that. So if you think about sneakers or watches, right? Like there's a ton of watches out there, there's a ton of sneakers out there, but that doesn't mean they're all good investments. You have to find out, do your research on the ones that are going to be performing the best, the one that people care about, the one that has demand, so that if you buy it as an investment, hopefully in a few months, the demand is still there and the prices can go up. So on to the next one. It's got to be the metaverse. It's still in its very, very beginning stage. But if you check the news, if you read some articles, it's pretty crazy. I had like a work trip recently and we were talking on the table how some people are spending tens and thousands of dollars on virtual land, like digital land. It reminds me of Sim, you know, all the jokes that you can make about video games. That's what it feels like. You're kind of getting this land in a video game, right? A good way to understand it is with real examples. So I think like NBA 2K, the video game is a good example. They have like this virtual city where you can literally walk around in different outfits, go to a store, go to a park, go to an arena, like you can go to the gym and work out your player, all these different things. The land, I can definitely understand that in the kind of the future where Louis Vuitton, Saint Laurent wants to have a store, and instead of being in the real world where you have to wait outside, wait in line, you can just go into the store. So these stores could become the new website. Just an idea, just a thought that could be what's going to happen in the future. However, there's definitely different ways to invest. You can look into buying land. You can look into buying your NFT and storing it there. It's very interesting. I'm still kind of learning that topic, but I think that's definitely one of the ways you could invest in the new year. There are companies that are obviously very heavily invested. For example, Facebook, obviously, or Meta. They're going to be spending a lot of their money in metaverse. So if you're buying stocks in companies that are directly relating and working within the metaverse, that's one way to invest as well. There's also EFT. So now, you know, that's just investing with stocks, but that's one way to invest in the metaverse without taking a huge gamble into it. On to the next one is real estate. This one is a no-brainer. Probably your parents, the previous generation has been telling you to invest in real estate for years. I think that's kind of like one of the things that we can always invest into. So maybe don't go crazy on the virtual land and digital land just yet. Real estate, of course, is always one way to invest. I also think right now it could be a little bit tricky just because depending on where you live, depending on where you are, but chances are the housing market has been going pretty crazy. It's an interesting balance, right? Because they lowered the interest rate and then now everyone can raise the prices up because the rates are low, so everyone can up their price, and again, supply and demand. So now all the houses are selling for easily, I don't know, 20%, 20,000, 30,000, it depends on where you are. Way over asking price, right? The demand is way higher because the interest rate is low. So also depends on what the government's gonna be doing soon. If they're gonna raise the interest rate back up, the prices might be going back down. So I think it's all balanced. In the years past, it was what? 7%, 10%, so that's why the houses were a little bit cheaper in comparison. You also gotta do what's right for you. If you're in a situation where you would really wanna buy a place, you know where you're gonna live for a while, maybe real estate is a good investment for you. So it all depends on where you are and the pricing, if you can get a good deal, a good rate, etc. But that's always one way you can invest. And last but not least, so I think this category, I'm just gonna call it things. So to me, this category is like sneakers, watches, cars. I think these are all like really good collector's items that all are worth a lot. And of course, they all have a really good supply and demand market. I've been buying sneakers since I was like a teenager. So I understand the sneaker world a little bit. There's a lot of limited releases, limited editions. So they easily go from retail and double the price. And sometimes if you hold it, you can sell it for even more later on because there's less and less brand new pairs. And then another thing is watches. I think watches are a good investment overall. And again, it depends on the brand that you buy. If it's a Rolex, IWC, limited edition, Omega, you know, it depends on what you buy. You can't just go out and just buy the first thing you see. Do the research, see what the secondhand market is. For example, this IWC watch, I think the retail is around $8,000. If you buy it used, you can get it for around $5,000. And so, yes, that's a $3,000 difference, but that means once I buy this watch, and no matter how much I wear it, if I take good care of it, I can still get a good amount of money back. And this is not a limited edition whatsoever. So if you look at Rolexes, they have a whole history of basically very limited releases. Some of the watches instantly go up double in price. So some of those pieces you can definitely look into. But I think overall, I think watches, luxury watches is a good investment because they hold their value as long as you take good care of them. Again, similar to sneakers, I think watches as well. It's not all of them. There's so many sneakers in the world. There's so many watches in the world, so many cars in the world. It's the specific ones that has that supply and demand market that could drive the value up for your investment. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what kind of finance, investment, kind of videos you would like to see in the future. There I have a quick video breaking down the different ways you can invest in this new year in 2022.